Hello everyone, to everyone here in the Chairman's Lounge at Royal Randwick and to everyone tuning in now on Sky Thoroughbred Central at home. It's time for two barrier draws this morning on day two of the championships. The first barrier draw this morning will be the $5 million Queen Elizabeth, and then the second barrier draw, the Swept Sydney Cup. There are 8 acceptors in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and they are Due by Honour, Sir Delius, Light Infantryman, Lindemann, Wootton Verney, Caviar Heights, Autumn Glow and Aliana. So that missing name of Pride of Jenny, she has accepted in the Queen of the Turf Stakes, which is another great addition coming up on Saturday. In fact, there are 14 acceptors for the Queen of the Turf. That barrier draw out shortly. There are 12 acceptors for the Oaks, 10 for the Arrowfield and 9 for the Percy Sykes. Before we get underway, would you please welcome the interim CEO of the Australian Turf Club, Steve McMahon.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Royal Randwick. We've already had some fantastic historical races over this carnival, whether it be at Rosehill Gardens or even last week here at Royal Randwick, and that's not going to end this Saturday. We've got Autumn Glow going for 12 in a row, and even better than that, we've got 5 fantastic days of sunshine leading into Saturday and free public transport included in your ticket. So don't worry about the fuel crisis. Catch a train, light rail, get to Royal Randwick here on Saturday. Special thank you to our partners, Racing New South Wales, Asahi Beverages. We've got the Swept Sydney Cup coming here on Saturday, and also to Sky and Tab. Thank you all, and good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Now I'd like to call on our stewards, our Chairman of Stewards, Tom Moxon, and Senior Steward, Steve Roughton. From Steve's barrel, he will draw the saddle cloth, so the order in which we draw, and then we'll invite connections to come to Tom's barrel and draw from there. So let's get the Queen Elizabeth Stakes barrier draw underway. There are 8 barriers to draw. And here is the first horse. Horse number 1, Due by Honour. Izzy Paul is here representing William Haggis. Tom Marquand to ride. The winner of this race 3 years ago, runner-up last year, back for a third attempt in the Queen Elizabeth. And Due by Honour has drawn barrier number 5. Barrier number 5, of course, William won it twice with a Dabe, so he's looking for his 4th win in this race, along with Tom. Horse number 8, Aliana, the Tancred winner. Chris Waller trains. We don't have an official rider on our sheets at the moment. We expect Damien Lane, Charlie Duckworth to draw. And it's barrier 8, the outside gate for Aliana. Barrier 8 for Aliana. Horse 7, here she is. The $1.40 favourite, Autumn Glow. Susan Archer is going to draw the barrier for Chris Waller and James McDonald. And Autumn Glow. Barrier 2. What were you nervous about, Susan? Barrier 2. Barrier 2 for the odds-on favourite, Autumn Glow, going for her 12th straight win, unbeaten. Horse 4 is Lindemann. Talia Kapitas is going to draw for Lindemann. Chris Waller. Barrier 6. Barrier 6 for the front runner, Lindemann. Horse 3, Light Infantryman, the winner of the Australian Cup, Ethan Brown and Kieran Maher. Georgia Schofield will draw the barrier for Light Infantryman. He ran in this race last year. He's a 50-1 chance in the Queen Elizabeth. Come up with barrier 1. So barrier 1 for Light Infantryman, 1 for Light Infantryman, 2 Autumn Glow. 3 and 4 aren't out yet. Horse 5, Wootton Verney. Chris Waller, Charlie, if you could draw the barrier for Wootton Verney, another 50-1 chance. One of 4 runners for Chris Waller in this race, half the field. Barrier 7 for Wootton Verney, barrier 7. So 2 remain, Sedelius and Caviar Heights.
2.
Horse 2 is Sedelius for Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott, and Craig Williams will ride. Emma Coleman from the Tulloch Lodge stable will draw the barrier for Sedelius. It's 3, barrier 3 for Sedelius. And the other William Haggis runner is Caviar Heights, and that is horse number 6. Zach Lloyd will ride for William, and Izzy Paul to draw the barrier for Caviar Heights, and it's 4. Barrier 4. So the stablemates will be locked away side by side. Barrier 4 for Caviar Heights and 5 for Dubai Honour. Here's the full barrier draw in order. Dubai Honour in 5, Sedelius in 3, Light Infantryman in 1, Lindemann in 6, Wootton Verney in 7, Caviar Heights 4, Autumn Glow's drawn barrier 2, and Aliana has drawn barrier number 8. So let's hear from, firstly, Izzy Paul, who's I think on her 7th trip to Australia, representing the William Haggis stable, with her 2 runners, Dubai Honour and Caviar Heights.
Hello, Izzy. Greg just mentioned that it's your 7th trip here. Is that right? We love having you back.
It's great to be back. And look, the boys both ran fantastic the other week, and we're really looking forward to Saturday.
You've had some great success with this race in the past, of course. We'll talk about Dubai Honour. How has he come through that run?
Yeah, he's bouncing. Did his last little bit of work this morning, and really, really happy with where he's at. So, just looking forward to probably getting Saturday out the way more than anything.
Tom Marquand mentioned to me at the races last week that he'd forgotten how his depth of girth and how much he sort of can look like he carries in the yard. He's an older horse, but he's certainly not showing any signs of training off.
No, definitely not. He sort of doesn't really look like your typical staying type. He's pretty solid. Whether that's because he's by Pride of Dubai, I don't know. But he sort of carries a bit of weight now, but he still seems to run great.
And obviously loves being back in Australia. Caviar Heights we know a little bit less about, but was a real eye-catcher last start.
Yeah, look, he ran great. He tends to run sort of from the front, but he broke a little bit slow and kind of got shuffled back, which I think was probably not ideal. But again, he's come through his race really, really well, and we're looking forward to it.
And they're drawn next to each other there. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, definitely. Look, and they're not drawn really wide or right on the rail, so I think I'm happy with those draws.
We see a similar style of riding there from Dubai Honour. Will he go forward again?
I think Lindemann will be tough to get in front of. But look, you'd like to be handy, I think, with probably both of them. So fingers crossed.
Always a pleasure to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Lindemann loves to lead. Dubai Honour certainly showed his turn of foot to take up the running and try and pinch it in the Tancred before being run down by Aliana. And where does James McDonald lob from barrier 2 with Autumn Glow? John Massara is a part owner of Autumn Glow with Hermitage, and he's about to have a chat to Ali.
I guess, John, the million-dollar question is, when was the decision made to run her over 2,000, and who had the most interest in that? Was it James McDonald in your ear there?
He was in my ear, and as was the trainer, Chris Waller. Well, one lives with the mare and the other one rides the mare, so who am I to outthink them? So I just went on pedigree, and I felt that 2,000 would be a challenge, but she is very good and she's got a lot of class, and those horses generally can do just about anything.
It's always a pleasure to see her step out. We even saw her for an exhibition gallop there on Saturday, and you could see that the crowd's eyes were all on her. She's a mare that's just captured our attention.
She's a beautiful looking mare and with an extravagant action, and when you've won 11 out of 11, it's not easy to do. So I think she'll keep people interested over the next few weeks and months.
What do you make of barrier 2 there? I mean, she's so versatile anyway.
Well, she jumps out very well, so I wasn't too worried about the barrier draw.
We talk about her pedigree and physically looking at her. She's got this big galloping action, but she's got so much strength, particularly behind. In terms of a distance pedigree-wise, is it something that you would look at after the weekend and then see where we might see her next preparation, maybe over a shorter trip? It's almost as though she can win at anything.
Well, she can cut out a 10-second furlong anytime she likes, or anytime James likes. So she's got a lot of versatility. Yeah, Saturday will tell us whether she's going to be very strong over, 2,000 metres, and if that's the case, there are races like the Cox Plate that we can aim towards in the spring.
Does it get easier each time you step out when she keeps going up to the mark, or are the nerves exactly the same?
Yeah, it's no longer enjoyment winning those races, it's just relief. Yeah.
Every time I speak to James post-race on the pony, it's as though he takes a breath, and I know it's such a pleasure to be partnered with her, but no doubt the nerves are felt across the board.
Oh, everybody, yeah. Okay, Chris as well. It's a huge responsibility having a whole of a mare like that, and I know the care they take in riding her and training her, and owning her is no less worrisome. So yeah, it's great fun. It's a great challenge, but you do get nervous.
And I suppose horses of her calibre come to the point where they're sort of public property. Everybody wants to know what they're doing, and everybody wants to come along for the ride too. So that adds another level of pressure. Yeah,
I think that's good, and I encourage that, and I like everybody being involved. She's everybody else's horse as well as ours now, and that's fine by me.
We're all along for the ride. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Now it's time to move on to the Schweppes Sydney Cup barrier draw. There are 16 to line up in the 2026 Schweppes Sydney Cup. But before we do that, Schweppes part of the Asahi company, and I'd like to invite Dougie May from Asahi Beverages Trade Relations to say a few words ahead of their race on Saturday. Great sponsors, Asahi, and a great supporter of racing is Doug May. Doug.
Thank you very much, Greg. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon me. On behalf of Asahi Beverages, we are delighted to again have the naming rights to sponsor the Schweppes Sydney Cup. This being such a time-honoured race, with origins of the race dating back to colonial Sydney and the growth of thoroughbred racing in the colony during the 1850s. The inaugural running of the race was run in May 1862, so there's a fair amount of history attached to the race. Some past winners have included the great Makybe Diva, Tie the Knot, Veloso, Kingston Town, and who of course can forget Rachel King's ride on Arapaho last year, where she absolutely blitzed the field by 4 lengths. So good luck to all the owners and trainers, and I look forward to celebrating with you after the race. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Now for the Schweppes Sydney Cup. If there are anyone at the back of the room, if you're drawing in this Sydney Cup, please come forward and take a seat closer to the barrel. Let's get the Schweppes Sydney Cup barrier draw underway with Steve Ralton's barrel first of all. And the first number out
15.
Is horse 15, Highland Bling, 51 kilos. Ben Thompson on for Philip Stokes. Gus Boyd will draw the barrier for horse number 15, Highland Bling, a $26 chance. Ben Thompson riding at 51. Barrier 2. Barrier 2 for Highland Bling. 51 is the minimum weight this year. River of Stars has the top weight of 56.5. Horse number 12, Machine Gun Gracie. Luke Cartwright riding for Ben Will and J.D. Hayes. Doug, if you could come up and draw the barrier for the Hayes boys, the Perth Galloper Machine Gun Gracie. Barrier 9 for the West Aussie. Barrier 9 for Machine Gun Gracie.
10.
Horse 10, Juakibo, 52 kilos, a $15 chance. Craig Williams riding for Kieran Maher. Georgia Schofield to draw the barrier for horse number 10, Juakibo.
10.
Barrier 10. Horse 10 in barrier 10, Juakibo in the Schweppes Sydney Cup. Horse 9, Athabaskan, 53 kilos. Tom Sherry on. Chris Hay is going to draw. Chrissy Hay to draw. Athabaskan, horse number 9, 53 kilos. It's barrier 5. Barrier 5 for Athabaskan.
16.
Horse 16, Hutchins. Chris Waller, Charlie Duckworth to draw the barrier for Chris. He has 4 runners in the Sydney Cup. Here's Hutchins. 13. Barrier 13. The next horse, Horse 8, Piggyback, Zach Lloyd, Kieran Maher. Adam Watt's going to draw the barrier for Piggyback, a $15 chance with 53 kilos. Piggyback. Barrier 8. Barrier 8 for Piggyback.
3.
Horse 3, Changing of the Guard. Jason Collett and Chris Lees. Doug, if you could draw the barrier for Changing of the Guard, a 50-1 chance in the Sydney Cup. Barrier 3. Jason Collett on Changing of the Guard from gate 3. Horse 1, River of Stars. Charlie Duckworth to draw the Chris Waller runner. River of Stars, no rider down as yet. For the top weight with 56.5. So these weights went up a kilo. 6 for River of Stars, barrier 6. Horse 4, Soul of Spain. Tim Caneen will draw the barrier for Soul of Spain. And no rider declared as yet. 54.5, an $8 chance. Barrier 12. Barrier 12 for Soul of Spain. In the 2 mile Sydney Cup.
Number 6.
Horse number 6, Valiant King. Valiant King, another one for Waller. Charlie will draw the barrier for Valiant King, a $26 chance. 54.5 kilos. 11. Barrier 11 for Valiant King. Horse 11, Mr. Monaco, the $4.50 favourite. Louis Lematea will draw the barrier for Mr. Monaco. Jamie Mellum on board for Kieran Maher, trying to win the Doncaster Sydney Cup double. 16, the outside gate for the favourite. The $4.50 favourite, Mr. Monaco, in the outside gate of 16.
Number 7.
Horse 7, Paradise Storm. Johnny Allen on for Henry Dwyer. Gus Boyd to draw the barrier for the $15 chance, Paradise Storm. Gate 4. Barrier 4 for Paradise Storm. They start over near the 1,000-metre mark and down to the judge with 1 to go.
14.
Horse 14, Lit Steel. Tyler Schiller on for Danny O'Brien. Doug, $15 Lit Steel on the limit of 51 kilos for Tyler Schiller. Barrier 7 for Lit Steel. There are 3 remaining.
2.
Horse 2, Campbell-Dino. Tim Clark on for Gay and Adrian. Jim Pizzanius is going to draw the barrier for Campbell-Dino. 55.5 kilos, same weight as Changing of the Guard. Barrier 14. So the $6 second favourite. Out wide like the favourite, Mr. Monaco.
5.
Horse 5, Whiskey on the Hill. Damien Lane on for Glenn Thompson. Doug, if you could draw this barrier. The second last to come out for the $15 chance, Whiskey on the Hill. 15. Barrier 15. So there's only one left.
13.
And that's horse 13, New Look. Ryan Kay is going to reach into that barrel and he's going to draw out barrier 1, we hope. There it is. Barrier 1 was the last one out. New Look, the winner of the Chairman's on Saturday on the backup, Rachel King for Trent Busserton and Natalie Young. The $11 chance has drawn barrier number 1. So here's the full list in the Sydney Cup. 16 of them. River of Stars 6, Campbell-Dino in 14, Changing of the Guard in 3, Soul of Spain in 12, Whiskey on the Hill 15, Valiant King 11, Paradise Storm 4, Piggyback in 8, Athabascan in 5, Dua Kibo in 10, Mr. Monaco the outside 16, Machine Gun Gracie 9, New Look the inside, Barrier 1, Lit Steel 7, Highland Bling 2, Hutchins in 13. They are the 16 runners in the Sydney Cup. And here is Charlie Duckworth to talk about the Waller runners, 4 in each of the races, the Queen Elizabeth and the Sydney Cup.
And Charlie, I dare say you'll get your steps in on the weekend. You've got a very busy weekend ahead. We'll kick off with Autumn Glow. How is she? We got to see her in that exhibition gallop there on Saturday. She looked a picture.
Yeah, she did. She always does. We're very lucky in that regard. She's pretty straightforward, so she'll have her final work along tomorrow morning, and then just keep her safe until Saturday.
Talk about her versatility, so barrier 2 shouldn't be an issue for her whatsoever.
No, absolutely. Look, only a relatively small field of 8, so I think regardless of where she drew, you'd be happy, to be honest with it, because she, like you said, you can just ride her wherever she wants to be. So yeah, I'm sure James will be happy though.
Licking his lips, ready to get out to 2,000, no doubt. Eliana, how has she been?
Yeah, she's been faultless. She's obviously a terrific horse. She's obviously stays very well. I guess the query is obviously how quick they do end up going in this 2,000 metre race. As obviously everyone in the race will I'd imagine want to make it a stamina test, as that's likely to be the only chink in the favourite's armour. So she's going terrifically well. It's just an awkward draw in 8.
One of those up there on speed, making it a stamina test, no doubt, will be Lindemann.
Yep, he's tough as ever. We were actually talking to Team Wappet before the race, calling him the underdog before last start. But he can never be forgotten. He's just a brave warhorse. He'll love a firm deck, and Nash knows him incredibly well.
He sometimes gets overlooked, but he's certainly no slouch with the other A-listers. And then, of course, Wootton Verney, who was a winner last time.
Yeah, Wootton Verney, I guess the concern with him is the track. His best wins have been on softer surfaces. So, look, as long as it doesn't get too firm, then I think he can still run a nice race. But obviously there's a couple of absolute standouts in the race that are going to be hard to beat.
And then you'll be busy once again leading into the Sydney Cup with River of Stars, Soul of Spain, Valiant King, Hutchins you've got there as well. We'll talk about River of Stars there in barrier 6, possibly James McDonald aboard? Yeah,
James will ride. Look, obviously she's the class horse in the race, which is why she's got top weight. So she's got a lovely draw to sort of try and offset that big weight. 2 miles isn't an issue with her. She's a proper staying mare, so I'm sure James will be happy with that.
Valiant King has been working well this prep too.
Yeah, he has. He's look, all of our runners in this, at least there isn't actually much of a query over the distance. So look, he obviously was awesome in spring. He's sort of yet to hit that sort of heights yet this prep, but we're hoping Saturday will be the case. Obviously he was scratched from the race last year. So we've got some unfinished business with him.
I have to ask you about Hutchins as well. I know he's in 13 and he'd be at big odds, but he's a bit of a standout every time you see him, a son of Frankel, and he looks as though he's been working out to a trip like this. I know he's a big blowout chance, but not without hope. Yeah,
look, he obviously, when we purchased him from the UK, he'd won his last 2 over 2 miles, and there's just a lack of options to race over that distance. So we were thankful that it wasn't a full field today for Saturday, so that he can actually get his chance over the 2 mile journey. His run, albeit on a Wednesday last week, at least he was actually closing off well and actually good through the line. So he's rock hard fit, but obviously he's going to need to improve a bit.
Another busy weekend ahead. How's Jolie Star pulled up? She ready to get on a plane?
Yeah, I hope so. Otherwise, my mum will be disappointed. But no, look, she's a marvel. She just goes from strength to strength, unbeaten for the prep, and hopefully she can continue on.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And let's hear from Adrian Bott. Gay and Adrian have 2 big plays in these 2 races with the barrier draws this morning. Sir Delius in the Queen Elizabeth and Campbell-Dino in the Sydney Cup. And here's Adrian with Ali.
Hello, Adrian. We'll touch on Sir Delius first. He was working to the line well, albeit off that hot speed behind the winner's last start. How is he?
Yeah, look, he's come on really well. And, this is the run in the race that we've tried to have him peaking in. He's been building nicely throughout the campaign. The 3 weeks between runs has been excellent for him. I thought we've seen that improvement in his work, and this is sort of the right conditions we want to see him under. A strong 2,000 metres here at Randwick. I feel we'll be able to see him at his best.
And it's an interesting point because we obviously saw him pull up last preparation and then he's just been working into it this time in. Is he just taking a little bit of time?
Yeah, look, obviously we've had a different lead up to what we did in the spring. We're able to sort of go into the spring off the back of a Queensland campaign and sort of have the residual fitness there early into that preparation, whereas we've had to pull that spring campaign short. We've come off a longer break and it's just taken us a little bit of time to build into that, and it's unsuitable at the mile first up. Thought he ran and showed nice improvement there second up. Just sort of gave ourselves a bit to do. So looking forward to Saturday's race. Would like to see a high pressure race. Hoping to see Pride of Jenny in there. That might have helped our cause, but not to be. But importantly, the horse is in good shape.
Happy with the draw there in 3?
Yeah, look, I think that's excellent. I was a little worried there when 7 was still sitting there. A bit of a small field, very very tactical, awkward start there. So I think that's key to his chances getting a nice draw.
Campbell-Dino in 14. He's really found form though this preparation, hasn't he?
He has. He's always been centred around this type of preparation. It's the program and campaign build-up that we've used successfully before to win the Cup with Knight's Order and the Offer. So he's followed that path and seems to be peaking at the right time. Excellent run on Saturday. He's proven at the 2 miles. A bit of an awkward draw there for him, but I think he's got a bit of tactical speed to help offset that.
He's come through it well?
Yeah, look, there was a couple of issues that this morning on the initial inspections that we just have to go through a few more tests throughout the week, just to ensure that we're where we need to be before starting him Saturday. But other than that, outwardly looks in great shape.
Best of luck with him and all your runners this week.
Thanks very much.
Okay, Ali, thank you. Tim Ryan, were there any changes in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes barrier after the barrier draw to the market?
No, I didn't make any changes to the market that I put up just before the barrier draw. Autumn Glow, well, she's Australia's most popular horse with punters, and in our futures book, she was the subject of over 80% of the total hold in the Queen Elizabeth, which is quite astounding, seeing as though she's only been confirmed for this race for the last 2 weeks. So she's very, very popular with punters. She started $1.40, $1.26 and $1.28 this preparation. Saturday, 2,000 metres for the first time. I guess that is some query, but to me, she's so strong at the end of her races. I'm not overly concerned, especially with no Pride of Jenny in the race. I might have put her up longer with Jenny in the field, maybe $1.50, but I settled on $1.40 for Saturday, so that's the price she's opened up. She'll be very, very popular at that quote. $6 equal second favourites, Aliana and Sir Delius. I put them together. I know Aliana beat Sir Delius in the Ranvet, but I'm expecting Sir Delius to be primed third up from a spell where he produced his big performance last preparation third up. So I put them together at 6. Dubai Honours on the next line of betting there as an $11 chance. Then out to our likely leader, Lindemann, 26. Light Infantryman and Wootton Verney, $51 chances. And Caviar Heights, the outsider of the field, as a $101 chance.
Okay, to the Sydney Cup, and you had the favourite, Mr. Monaco, draw the outside alley in the 2 mile race, barrier number 16.
Yeah, he drew wide in winning the Manion Cup. He sat 3 wide the trip there, so I don't think the wide barrier will be too much of a concern, especially over the 2 miles here at Randwick. He'll probably look to push forward with his lightweight, so I think he can offset that barrier. So I left him as a $4.50 chance. It's an interesting Sydney Cup this year. Usually you're weighing up the 2 form lines, the Chairman's and the Tancred, but there's a couple of other form lines this year. Mr. Monaco comes straight through the Manion. He didn't run in the Chairman's. And you've also got a few of these Victorians coming through the Roy Higgins. So a few different options this year. I think Mr. Monaco is the horse, though, that is still improving. I don't think we've really seen the best of him, despite sitting wide and winning that Manion Cup impressively. So I've left him as a $4.50 favourite. I think Campbell-Dino is the pick of the horses coming through the Chairman's. He had to make a bit of an early move there on Saturday on a fast pace, so I thought his run was very brave. So happy to have him as a $6 second favourite. Solar Spain for me is the pick of the horses coming through the Tancred. He's the next chance there as an $8 chance. New Look and River of Stars on the $11 line, and a host of runners on the $15 line. Duakibo, Lit Steel, Machine Gun. Gracie's an interesting one. I don't think I've ever seen a horse come to the Sydney Cup just off a 1,900 metre lead up in the Epona, only third up. But Cummings would be shaking his head at the preparation for a 2 mile race. But she's popular. She's there on the $15 line, along with Paradise Storm, the Auckland Cup winner, Piggyback, and Whiskey on the Hill, all $15 chances. Highland Bling, Valiant King, $26 line, Athabaskan, Change of the Guard, $51 chances, and Hutchins, the rank outsider, as a $201 chance.
All right, they're up now, and there'll be 4 more coming out very, very soon.
Yep, waiting on those final fields for the Queen of the Turf, where we'll see Pride of Jenny. I don't think she'll be favourite. I think the others, Treasure of the Moment and Lady Shenandoah, may be a better preparation for 1600. So I'll probably have Jenny on the second line of betting when that market goes up. We'll have the Oaks. Ohope wins and Profoundly dominating the betting there for the Oaks, so they'll be favourite and second favourite. And looking forward to the Arrowfield field. Tempted will be odds on, and in the Percy Sykes, the Tono Glow, your likely favourite there.
Okay, thank you. So that's a rundown of the markets for the Queen Elizabeth and Sydney Cup. Big day coming up. Let's hope it lives up to what day one delivered, which was quite amazing. After the 10 races there, the quality and the performances we saw. Queen Elizabeth Stakes Day, day 2 of the championships, coming up this Saturday, and you'll see it live right here on Sky Thoroughbred Central.
Get set for epic clashes on day 2 of the championships this Saturday. 4 outstanding Group 1s highlight the Randwick card. Stars converge for a battle royale in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. The will to win will be tested in the Sydney Cup. Full throttle girl power is on show in the Australian Oaks and the Queen of the Turf Stakes, plus the $1 million Provincial Midweight Championships final. Don't miss a moment of the championships day 2.